Okay. Awesome to see you all. Thank you so much. We are going to go through something very quickly with you today because it's very exciting. The Telstra Best of Business Awards are open, and we just received some news today, actually, that they have extended the way that they are doing things this year, which is awesome. So up until now, we had thought that last Friday was when the deadline was for nominating for the Telstra Best of Business Awards. It's totally free to enter these awards. You do have to nominate, though, either nominate yourself or nominate somebody else for the awards. And we believe that closed last Friday. We've just learned today that it's actually going to be open right through until the 26th of April. But there's a caveat to that. It's not just nominations. You have to do your nomination and complete stage 1. By the 26th. So yes, I'm just going to get this to there. Here we go. So yes, if you are nominated for the Telstra Best of Business Awards, you have until the 26th of April to do stage 1. If you haven't nominated yet and you're thinking, oh, I've missed out, you haven't. You've got a chance to do it. Just nominate and also go in and finish doing stage 1. So that's the news I wanted to clarify with everyone today. In this quick webinar we are holding about stage 1 of the Telstra Best of Business Awards, just to help you understand what you have to do. Now, in reality, stage 1 is probably the easiest of the stages. In fact, we know it is the easiest of the stages with the Telstra Best of Business Awards. It's multi-choice. It's just ticking boxes and going through. It is time consuming. You might take half an hour, 40 minutes, maybe an hour to do it. Here's a couple of suggestions for you, though, when you're doing it. So first of all, the Telstra Best of Business Awards are a little bit of a convoluted process for you to log in and get started. Every time you log into your account, you get sent a code, a security code that comes to your email or to your phone. So that you have to be around, if you're doing it with a business partner or a team, you have to be around the person who's using their email address as the person who's nominated. So make sure that you keep a record of the password that you're using for the Telstra Awards for your entry, because whatever email address you use or telephone number you use to do your initial sign up and starting of your account, that's where the security code is going to go. So every time you log in to do anything on your account, you'll need that security code. So just letting you know, it's a bit of a, I guess, a security feature that Telstra have got on there. A bit convoluted for what it is, but that's the way it is. So number 1, make sure when you sign up for your account with the Telstra Best of Business Awards, you keep a track of which email address you've used so that you can get hold of that, that security code when it comes through. So, because you want it every single time. So stage 1, Telstra Awards. As I said just now, the most exciting news is we had thought that nominations closed last Friday. They've actually extended it to the 26th of April. So you get a bit more time to do that, to nominate yourself or nominate someone, but you must also complete stage 1 by that date as well. So you've been nominated. Woohoo! Exciting stuff. You've been nominated for a Telstra Best of Business Awards. That's so exciting in itself. And now is the opportunity for you to make sure that you are on your way. Now, there's a couple of tips and tricks. The first one I've already given you, which is make sure you look after your email address of where you want that security code to go to, so you're not trying to get in without finding that code. Secondly is the first stage is multi-choice. So there's no need for, lots of writing and all the rest of it, but you will need a quiet space. So I do suggest when you're entering the Telstra Awards, you take your time, shut the door, turn this thing off or put it on silent mode and pop it away, and just make sure that you can concentrate, because you are going to spend some time ticking boxes and making sure you're doing this right. So it's like any sort of test. Make sure you've got a clear space in your mind to do it, and don't leave it to the last minute. Don't leave it till midnight on the 26th, or it might even be 5 p.m. on the 26th. Don't leave it to the last day to do it. Schedule some time in your diary to go and go through this. So I'm going to share my screen with you so that you can see what the first stage looks like. So here's my screen. So I've logged in. I've used that little code that came through on my email, and it starts out the system here is all online. Everything you do with Telstra is all online. This is your dashboard with everything takes place. Here's the deadline, 5 p.m. on the 26th. You can add it to your calendar to make sure you know when it finishes. But I do suggest you, if you've been nominated, or if you haven't nominated yet, you can go ahead and do that right now. Nominate yourself or nominate someone you know and get started. So really, it's a very simple task for you to do. It is all about eligibility. It's ticking boxes and making sure that you are not only setting up your profile, and this is a bit of inside knowledge for you. It sounds like you're just setting up a business profile. What you're actually doing is you're making sure you are eligible to get through to the next stage. So just think about that when you are answering the questions. Now, we do suggest you answer honestly. Don't make anything up. But just think about this in a positive opportunity way. So if there's a question that says, for example, do you have a workplace health and safety manual set up? Do you have a HR policy? Do you have terms and conditions? All these sorts of things do you have an ABN? All those sorts of things. All the questions around eligibility for a business, it's going to ask you those sorts of questions. So number 2 tip on this, have that information handy. So log in and go and have a look at what they're asking for, and then make sure you're not having to run around the place trying to find this information at the last minute. So it's going to ask you all sorts of questions they're like demographics about your business. So be honest, but also think about this is an opportunity to highlight where maybe you haven't done some stuff in your business. So maybe you can say, well, actually, I don't have terms and conditions on my website, but hey, with AI, I could go and do that this afternoon, have them ready and get them sent off to my web developer so that he could upload that into my website or whatever it is the requirement is that's needed. And that will be ticked off by the 26th of April. So here's an opportunity for you to make sure you're ticking the right boxes in terms of being eligible as a business for the Telstra Awards, making sure that you're putting all the information in there, but it's also an opportunity for you to just do a bit of a road test, if you like, or a fitness health check on how your business is set up. So let's get started. Welcome to the Audaciosu Agency. Business details is going to take you about 3 minutes. The owner's profile, about 3 minutes. Eligibility, about 3 minutes. Business background, 3 minutes. And award categories, 3 minutes. So it's not going to take you a lot of time as long as you've got all that information to hand. So it's very, very simple. You put in the information, your registered business name, the ABN, the business type, the job title of the person doing the entry, your address, your suburb, everything, how we can contact you. So this is all the information that you need to make sure is on there. Your business website, your LinkedIn profile, anything that you might have on there. And if you're a customer now, you don't, like I say, with all of these things, be very honest. If you're not a Telstra customer, it's okay. You don't need to be a Telstra customer in order to be eligible for these awards. So just be honest. No, we're not a Telstra customer, and that's fine. It won't make you less eligible to say that. Owner's profile. So again, all demographics in here. You know, are you a member of any of these groups, a chamber of commerce and so on? What country were you born? What languages do you speak? Very much wanting to know just a bit about the inside of the business. Have you ever entered them before? Have you entered them or women's awards or these awards? So they're wanting to know your background, your greatest strengths. So again, with all of the answers you're giving here, be honest about where you are and who you are and your position in the marketplace. Think about how you want to position your brand as being great at doing certain things. Be honest with what you're saying, but also think about if you're going for a particular category, which of these particular strengths would be really helpful for you to say, hey, we're really good at this. And it might be that you're good at all of those things. So just tick them all and go, actually, this is something that all good business owners should be good at. We should be good at marketing ourselves. We should be good at understanding technology and making the most of that. We should be really good at communication as business owners. We certainly should be good at accounting because we need to know where the money is coming from. We're good at running our operations and we're good at being leaders. So maybe tick them all because it's what we should be good at. It's what we should say, yep, we're good at this stuff. This is why we're entering these awards. So really think about where you're at. Be honest with your answers in here. And make sure that you're giving all the information that you can. Again, this is all about how long your business has been going, where you're located, how big it is, whether it's a sole trader situation or a social enterprise or a partnership or a PTY, a franchise, you know, what sort of business that you are, your turnover. Again, be honest here. What your growth has been like. And, again, be honest with what you're saying. This isn't hey, you're better than anybody else at this stage. It's just making sure that you're answering the questions. Have you been a supplier to Telstra? Anyone affiliated with Telstra? So yes, very, very simple here. Criminal disputes, proceedings, etc. Just again, be really cautious about what you're sharing online, but be really honest with everything that you're putting through. And just go through these questions. Just read very, very clearly what they're asking for. They're all just, and dealing with, do you ensure you operate in an ethical manner? I mean, who is going to say no to this question? Of course, you're going to say yes. You deal in an ethical manner, because if you're a good business and you're going for a business award, then you should be dealing in an ethical manner with the people that you're working with. So just make sure that you're filling out all of these questions and going through. So it is very, very much just multi-choice. So yes, we're a permanent resident. I might come back and do that. It's located in Queensland. Other Queensland, I'll go. That's interesting. We'll go 5 to 9. We're a partnership. PTY. It's not listed on the AXS. Yes, most Australians run it. 50, no, it's not owned by another business. No, it's not reliant on government funding. It's not a government agency. Put in here. In fact, it's closer to here. Current financial growth. We've had a lot. So in fact, it's been over 45%. We haven't been a commercial supplier, and we haven't done any investing with Telstra. No criminal proceedings. Involved in workplace, but no, we haven't. And yes, we're ethical. Right, so hopefully that'll let me go on. Almost done. I acknowledge it's true and accurate. So it's going to ask you this information. Be honest with everything you're saying. So here we go. Business background. What's the industry that you operate in? And of course, it's a drop down, so find the closest to you. What business model best describes how you operate? Very simple in here. If it's a franchise model or a retailer model or a product to service model, just choose the one that makes the most sense to you. Make sure that it's got it in there. The stage of your business state. So you're newly launched. Did you just launch in the last couple of years? Are you going through rapid growth and you're scaling out? Are you rolling out to multiple destinations and different offices? Are you in expansion mode and you're adding sites and suppliers and so on? Are you really absolutely going for it and your business is ready to rock and roll maybe into other countries and all sorts of things? So have a think about where you're at with this. Have you just launched? Are you rolling out your business? Are you going through growth and scaling? Are you expanding into multi-sites and adding staff and so on? Or are you at maturity and we're just chugging along and doing really, really well? Where does it operate from? Excluding employees who work from home. So you might have a team of freelancers around the world who work from home. How many your business primary location for? And at night we can say 2, because I'm based on the Sunshine Coast and she's based on the Gold Coast. Although we do work from home, we're not employees. So just have a wee think, take your time around these questions. As I say, the second tip I had for everyone was make sure you get on to this. Don't leave it to the last minute. Yep, very, very simple on here. They're all not difficult questions to answer. They're not using fancy language. There's no writing involved. It's all multi-choice, tick the box. So just be positive about, what you're doing and think about what answers are going to make you the most eligible to get through to the next stage. So that's it, guys. It's a very, very simple process entering the awards categories. I'll just see if I can go save and continue on to the next stage. I can, and here's the categories. So last bit I want to talk about really is the fact that you can enter multiple categories for the Telstra Best Business Awards. As I said before, they're free to enter. There's no entry fee. There's no extra cost if you enter multiple categories. Just be aware of the fact that should you get through stage 1, and hopefully you do, into stage 2, that's when the writing occurs. And you will need to then submit entries for these categories. So saying, hey, we're going to enter every category would be a bit ludicrous. really think about a couple of things with these categories. Number one, which category do you most want to go after as a business? Which would make the most sense to you as a leader, an entrepreneur, a change maker, an organization head, whatever you're doing? What would make the most sense to you and to your business for you to win? So last year, Annette and I entered and won Accelerating Women for Queensland State, and we got to the finals in Sydney. We also entered the Outstanding Growth Award, and because we had outstanding growth last year, we're still doing that. And this was one that we got through on because we really do accelerate, and there's evidence that we accelerate women with helping them enter, win, and leverage awards and build their profile. But maybe you're more about building communities, and you can have a whole look. You can click on here and it will take you right through to, everything about this and who can apply, who's eligible, what some of the winners have been. And this is really good to go and have a look and see who the previous winners were, because this is going to give you an idea of who you're going to be up against. So go and have a look at them. There's eligibility criteria on here. You can make sure you can have a look that it's got, you've got to be operating in the last 12 months, have under 200 full-time staff, earn more than 500,000 in annual revenue, so all the information is there. It's not hidden. It's, it's kept very, very clear and accessible for everyone to go and find out, what categories there are. So you can do that with every single one of these categories. You can go through championing health if you're in the health industry, or a very innovative business if you are creating new products or services or working at leading edge or bleeding edge, perfect to go for these. Indigenous excellence, not just if you're Indigenous yourself, but also if you're operating in that realm and you're doing that work with Indigenous Australians. Outstanding growth, and certainly that would be something that you have to have some facts and figures behind to show that, so be aware of that. And sustainability, of course, and it can be diversity as well as sustainability, but be really clear about, it's a community based sustainability. How is your business or your organization sustaining a supportive community? So be really clear about which one you want to go for. It's interesting, isn't it? Building communities and sustainability are very, very similar in the way they're worded, but click on them more, go in and have a look. And again, if you're working in a sustainable part of business like logistics or energy or manufacturing, you can see the company that won were Like a Pet Food. So there's some really interesting people who've won this, Waste Solutions and so on. So have a look through. Definitely go and have a look at who the previous winners were, because that gives you a very good idea of what you're going to have to do in terms of standing out in that category. And it might help you choose whichever category is best for you as well. So the easiest way to do is just by ticking the boxes. That's one we want to go for. We want to go for that one, and we want to go for this one. And then you just go, okay, away you go. Remember, it's going to take at least 15% revenue growth for this category. So, it's going to warn you all the way through. So that's it, guys. It's very, very simple. It's a very simple form to do. It saves it as you go. You can go back again if you haven't got anything and find it and continue on. But just follow those tips that I've suggested. First tip, make sure you've nominated. Get yourself in and nominated, and make sure you have given yourself plenty of time before the deadline to get your information together and get ready to answer those questions. Take time to look at the categories and decide which one you're going to go for, and be prepared to shut the door, turn the phone off, and just sit down and get it done. Think about putting yourself in the best light. Be honest, but put yourself in the best light as you are filling out all this information. Try to tick as many positive boxes as you can, because that will help you get through to stage 2. Be very honest with your answers. Make sure that you've got all the information to hand. Don't stress yourself out by having to go and run around for it. Make sure you've got it all handy. I would suggest, if you've been nominated, go and log in. Log in. Remember to keep that email address that you've used to log in, so that you get that security code each time, so you can go back in and have a look, and keep that safe somewhere because you'll need it again. So make sure you're getting in there, having a look through, check what's needed, give yourself the time to go and get that information, consider the categories, look at who won last year, do some research, and then set aside an hour. Put it in your diary, schedule it in your calendar to go in and have an hour to go and make sure this is done and get it in there. And then you can relax. Then you can just sit back and go, right, great, fantastic. Because stage 2 is where the work happens. And that's where there's a lot more writing. You've got set questions to answer, and you've got a lot more involvement in creating your entry. and that's a bit more involved. And we're here to help you if you get to stage 2 and you want that help to do that. Last year, we wrote 7 entries through to stage 2. In fact, it was 7 clients, but multiple entries. So we did more than 7. We probably did close to 10 or 12 actual entries or more, including our own. We got 2 people who got 7 people got all the way through to stage 3, which includes a video interview. And again, we help you with your scripts and answering the questions and getting you ready for doing video interviews with the judges. And then we got through as state winners, ourselves and one of our clients, and we got to the finals, which was fantastic. So we know how to do it. We've walked the walk and talked the talk. So if you need any help with entering the Telstra Best of Business Awards, please let us know. But that first stage is very, very simple, as you see. Multi-choice. Take your time, make sure you're prepared, set aside the time to do it and get it done, and off your plate, out of your brain. Put yourself forward in the best light and make sure that you're in it to win it. So there you go, guys. I wanted to keep this really quick and short for you to make sure that you knew what you were doing. Very, very simple process, but it takes time and takes some effort. Make sure you have scheduled time in your diary. And if you need to go back and watch this webinar again, please feel free to rewatch it. Make sure you keep everything on hand. Store your logins and passwords safely. Make sure you can get back in to modify and update your entry as you go, and go for it. There's nothing to stop you from entering the Telstra. It's absolutely free to enter, and takes a little bit of time, a little bit of effort, but nothing really major. And just get on with it. Get in there and make sure you're getting yourself into the Telstra Best of Business Awards. And even if you only get through to stage 1 and no further, that's an accolade in itself. The fact that you've taken the time to do it is a pretty cool thing to say, look, hey, we've been nominated and we've entered into the Telstra Awards, and tell everybody about it. Hey, put it out there. We're doing this. We're putting ourselves on a national stage, and we've entered, and use the branding, put it on your social media, tell people you've nominated. There's nothing better, is there, than having that accountability, that people know that you've now entered. And then you've got the ability to share your story and your awards journey and leverage no matter what the outcome is. So there you go, guys. Be bold, be brave, be audacious, get out there and enter the Telstra Best of Business Awards. It's an awesome opportunity for you to review where you're at as a business, to reward your team, to reflect on what you're doing, but more importantly, to stand out and be Googleicious. Thanks, guys, for joining me. Any questions, please get in touch with the Audaciosu Agency. We are here to help. Cheers, guys.